Goodbye YouTube, how's it going everybody? Got for y'all today a pretty fun battle that I had against my very good friend Nathan, aka LMNOhP. He has recently started uploading, so I'll leave his channel link down in the description. Feel free to go check him out, guys, and if you enjoy his videos, please subscribe to him. Now, before I talk about team preview, I just want to say that for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you will know that I recently posted something saying that I was going to do giveaways of some of my Pokebank Pokemon. So if you guys would like to enter the giveaways on my Twitter, then I'll leave a link to my Twitter down in the description. Just follow me on there and just wait for whenever I have an extra of a Pokemon to give away. For those of you who are wondering, no, Pokebank is not out. I just got lucky and I did get some Pokebank Pokemon, and I have spares to be able to give away. So yeah, if you want to enter, feel free to go follow me on Twitter. Now, looking at team preview, I have brought back Kyurem Black because in my previous upload, Kyurem Black really didn't get to do anything, but in this battle, Kyurem Black does definitely put in some work. And looking at Nathan's team, the biggest threat I saw was going to be that Mega Medicham, because the only thing on my team that outspeeds it is my Keldeo, so I have to make sure to keep my Keldeo around for this battle. As Nathan leads off with the Medicham, I end up leading off with my Emboar. I do not want to stay in and take a Psycho Cut, so what I'm going to do is switch directly into my Scissor, hoping that after I Mega Evolve, I can take a high jump kick, but he actually ends up going for the Substitute, knowing that the switch out was very obvious, which means I basically get a free switch into my Scizor, allowing me to now safely Mega Evolve and ensuring the fact that I can take a high jump kick. And I'm very positive he's not going to have something like Fire Punch or anything along those lines. As I go for the Bullet Punch, I'm going to be able to break his Substitute, as he actually ends up over predicting and goes for the Psycho Cut, thinking that I would switch into my Gourgeist, predicting him to go for the high jump kick. As he over predicts once more, I'm going to be able to break his Substitute with the U-turn, allowing me to prevent this Medicham from being behind a Substitute, as I can now switch into my Keldeo, which even if I wasn't Scarfed, I would still naturally outspeed Medicham, but I am Scarfed. And then I'm going to predict him to predict me to go for either the Hydro Pump or the Secret Sword, and I'm actually going to go for the Hidden Power Ghost, expecting the Trevenant to come in, which is exactly what happens. And because this Trevenant is most likely specially defensive, that Hidden Power Ghost is only going to do about 30-35%, which is still a pretty good amount of damage. Then predicting him to go for the Will-O-Wisp, Horn Leech, or Leech Seed, I'm actually going to switch into my Emboar, but he does make the safer and smarter play and actually goes for the rest, because now his Trevenant can switch back into a Hidden Power Ghost from my Keldeo, not having to worry about being 2 KO'd. As I predict him to switch out, I'm going to go for the Wild Charge, and I get off a really good amount of damage on this Slowbro. So I'm going to stay in and I'm going to go for another one, hoping that I don't get minimum damage so I can knock out this Slowbro. And you're going to see that this Slowbro just does not want to die in this battle, as he actually switches into the Chandelure, I guess maybe fearing that I would have a fighting stab move, but I don't really like running Hammer Arm on Emboar, which I think is really the only viable fighting move Emboar even gets. I really wish that it got close combat, but of course it can't, because Game Freak does not like Emboar. And I'm able to knock out the Chandelure with the Sucker Punch because I am Expert Belted. As he brings in the Rhyperior, I do not want to stay in and take any move that this thing wants to go for, so I'm going to make the safe switch into my Gourgeist, as he ends up going for the Power Up Punch. And then I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, I believe, just predicting him to switch out, or if he did want to stay in, I could completely cripple that Rhyperior and no longer have to worry about it. As I catch the incoming Trevenant, I'm going to switch out into my Emboar, thinking that he would go for his own Will-O-Wisp, but Nathan makes a very nice double switch into his Medicham, predicting me to bring in Emboar. And now I'm put in a position where I cannot go for the Sucker Punch, because if he substitutes on my Sucker Punch, he can easily play around it, knock out my Emboar, and end up being behind the Substitute, which I cannot allow. So I go for the Flare Blitz, as he predicts me very nicely and knocks me out with the Psycho Cut. I can now get a free switch into my Keldeo, and I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump, because I thought he would bring in the Snorlax, but I didn't want to go for the Secret Sword on the off chance that he stayed in or switched into Trevenant. This way I could either knock out Medicham or get off a bit of damage on the Trevenant, and he does end up bringing in the Trevenant. And I'm just going to predict him to go for the rest or the Will-O-Wisp and bring in my Gourgeist. Unfortunately, with my Emboar gone, nothing on my team would like a burn or a leech seed, except for maybe Gourgeist, because Gourgeist is really only here to take hits. It's not really meant to dish out damage, so I guess it isn't too bad, but still, it would have been very nice to keep around my Emboar to deal with this Trevenant. As I go for the Shadow Sneak, I was very positive he would go for the Willow, so I could get off a neutral Shadow Sneak instead of being at -2 the following turn, instead of going straight for the Willows, because he does have the Harvest. So this turn, I'm going to switch out into my Kyurem Black, expecting him to go for the Shadow Claw. This way I could just click Outrage and destroy something on his team, but he actually switches out into the Slowbro, and now I'm thinking, okay, he's definitely gonna leave in Slowbro, thinking I'm gonna go for Outrage. So what I'm gonna do is go for the Fusion Bolt. I am adamant, max attack and Slowbro. Oh, oh, Slowbro, you are way too bulky. Like, that's about maybe 2% that it lived on, and he's able to paralyze my Kyurem Black, which means I am slower than the rest of his team. As I switch into my Scizor, predicting him to bring in the Rhyperior, Nathan makes a very nice play, predicts me to switch out, and he's going to go for the Slack Off, which means now this Slowbro will be back up to full HP thanks to Regenerator, and I can now just safely go for the U-turn, which I guess is a good plus for me because I can get off a decent bit of damage on whatever he decides to bring in. As he brings in the Rhyperior, I do a nice like 20% as I U-turn now into my Diggersby, and because I feel that the Earthquake or Return is too obvious, what I'm going to do is actually go straight for the Earthquake, predicting him to predict me to Stone Edge or something else and bring in Trevenant and actually leave in Rhyperior, thinking I would not go for the Earthquake, and I'm able to knock out the Rhyperior. Hopefully you guys followed what I did there. Basically, I was just hoping he would stay in so I can knock him out with Earthquake. And it happened. So he brought in the Trevenant. I'm going to go for the Stone Edge. I know I won't knock out Trevenant, but I can still get off a good amount of damage on it. As he brings in the Medicham, I miss, but I'm able to live the Psycho Cut because Nathan predicted me to predict High Jump Kick, and I'm able to knock out his biggest threat on his team with the Return. And if you guys are wondering why I didn't go for Quick Attack, is because this Diggersby is an Agility variant. As I get off a good amount of damage on the Slowbro, he is then going to be able to knock me out with the Ice Beam. So Diggersby managed to put in a bit of work knocking out Rhyperior and the Medicham, as now I can get a switch back out into my Scizor, allowing me to just safely go for the U-turn or Bullet Punch if I really wanted to, but in the end U-turn is obviously my better play to do, as he ends up bringing in the Trevenant. I was really positive this U-turn would knock out Trevenant, but of course not. It lives on like maybe 33%. And now I can get a free switch back into my big threat, because at this point Nathan's last Pokemon are Slowbro, Trevenant, and Snorlax, which means I can honestly just safely go for the Choice Banded Outrage, because if he switches into a Slowbro, it's gonna get to a KO as long as I do not get paralyzed, and Nathan knows this, so he's just gonna stay in and he's gonna go for the rest, because even if he went for the Shadow Claw or Horn Leech, it would really not do anything to my Trevenant. As I'm able to knock him out with the Outrage, he is now going to bring in the Slowbro, and obviously I cannot switch out because I am locked into Outrage, so I have no choice but to stay in, as I'm able to easily take this Ice Beam. To be honest, I thought this Outrage would knock out Slowbro, but as I said, this thing does not want to die. It's, oh my god, I need to use Slowbro more. This thing is just way too bulky, as I'm gonna be forced to switch out because I am confused and I am paralyzed. So I'm gonna switch into my Gourgeist on the off chance that he did want to stay in. I didn't want to switch into my Scizor, risking the burn, so I definitely knew Gourgeist was my safest switch in, as he actually switches out into the Snorlax just to get Regenerator back on his Slowbro, and I can just stay in, just go for the Will-O-Wisp, because after burning Snorlax, due to the fact that he most likely is Adamant Max Attack, he won't be able to do anything to my Gourgeist. As I take the Pursuit like it's nothing, I can now switch back into my Kyurem Black and take a Return if he does want to go for it, which is actually what he is going to do, but because he is burned, as I said, Snorlax can really not do anything, and I'm basically free to just go for the Fusion Bolt one more time, because much like earlier, if he brings in Slowbro, as long as I don't get paralyzed, I will be able to 2-hit KO him. As he ends up getting a crit with the Return, I'm going to be able to take the next Return. Thankfully, I do not get paralyzed, and I'm going to be able to get off a huge hit on the Snorlax and bring him down to a point where the burn will be able to finish him off, and his last Pokemon at this point is the Slowbro, which cannot take any 2 hits from my Kyurem Black, and I don't think he can knock me out with any 1 hit. And actually, I'm going to be able to one-shot him with the Fusion Bolt as long as I do not get paralyzed. He goes for the Scald. I'm able to live, and I do not get paralyzed, allowing me to knock out the slow blow, and that is going to be the victory in my favor. So yeah, Kyurem Black redeeming himself from the previous battle. As I said, this was just a really fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, make sure to go check out my boy Nathan. His channel link is down in the description. If you missed any of my 2 previous uploads, those are playing on your screen right now. Feel free to click the annotation. With that, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content, and I will hopefully be streaming sometime soon, or actually maybe I would have streamed earlier today. I don't know, it depends whenever this video goes up. But yeah, later everybody.